How y'all doing? Good.
So you guys,
I'm going to move some of this back because I like here. Yeah.
So you guys signed this guy called named Saquon Barkley. How do you think it fit into this offense as you guys, and how, especially with the way you guys used it last year?
Yeah, amazing thing. Good players fit well into schemes, and he's obviously a really good player. We're really excited to have him. The style of play that he brings, the leadership that he brings. And so, however, guys like that, however you use them, they're gonna do a good job. And so we're obviously working on the ways that we're gonna use them now. Our offensive staff's working hard at that, and just really excited to have him add a player of his caliber to our team. A couple years ago when we added AJ, just did a lot of work of, hey, what does AJ do well? Obviously you do that going in, then you even look at it even more after you get them. What does AJ do well? How can we use them? And it's been a similar process here with Saquon.
And you've had a few months now to work with Kellen Moore. I'm curious, what's that process been like getting to know him? And then can you explain a little bit maybe how it's different than it was with Ryan or Shane, or if it's kind of the same role and dynamic you guys have?
He's unbelievable. I really enjoy working with him. Everybody that is from that Boise, I've worked with a couple guys from that Boise tree. Two guys at Indy, Clayton Adams and Chris Strasser, who I thought were outstanding coaches. They were coaches there when Kellen played there, and so I just have so much respect for Chris Peterson, their coach that they kind of grew up under, and they just know football. They love football. They have great thoughts about football, and that's why we hired Kellen. And he's done an unbelievable job so far of just directing the ship, and I just got a lot of respect for him, and I'm happy he's on. Just like Saquon, I'm really happy he's on our team.
A lot of the running backs have had like 50 catches out of them.
I don't think you get into. I don't even think we know that yet. And there's a lot of concepts that are very, very similar. But I hired Kellen to do a job, and we'll mesh things together. Just like I said right from the beginning, things will be. We'll have some good things that we've done here in the past. He's going to bring some new elements to it, and. But to say 27% is going to be this, there's a lot of similarities within it too. And so, but Kellen's just doing a good job of leading the offense, and we're really excited about that.
A lot of the running backs with Kellen Moore
How is the process different than it was when you were building out the offense with guys who you had already worked with before?
Similar process. A similar process. I would say as of right now, I haven't been in there as much. I obviously have other obligations, and those guys have similar process. I think you ask somebody around the entire NFL, everyone's going to have similar process in the off season, and those are processes that you try to perfect as you go on, and of what you do, and but it's similar.
You mentioned the thought of meshing the offenses. How do you go about that? Trying to figure out what from each you want, and what's the actual way you do it?
Yeah, again, just going through the entire, watching all the tape, going through all the playbooks, going through all the teach sheets, talking through it. How can we do this better? Very similar to at the end of the year, you evaluate everything that you did and what was good, what was bad, how can you do it better, how can you do your good things that you do even better, and how does it fit into how we're calling things, right? So are we going to call it this? Does it make sense to call it this? Does it make sense to call it that? So it's just a process that you go through at the end of the year. Again, without getting too much into that, it doesn't serve us well to give you guys all. I know you guys want all the answers right now, and that's your job. I mean, I respect that, but it doesn't serve us well to put those answers out there until Brazil, right? I mean, I'm just telling you guys right now, I'm not going to give you a lot on that. I'm going to be very vague on this, because for anyone to know what we're running and how we're running it or how we're calling it, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us well, and so we'll keep some things close to the vest. But like I said, Kellen's done a great job so far, and he really gets along well with our guy. Doug's done an unbelievable job so far. Really got a lot of respect for Doug. our new quarterback coach, and excited about how everything's coming together.
In terms of the vision at running back, with Kellen, a lot of guys get about 50 catches. Like, what's kind of the vision at running back with him that maybe changes a little bit of how y'all see it with Saquon?
Yeah, we've had different styles of running backs, and if you're speaking of just on catches, we've had different styles of guys. This year was a little bit, as far as our receiving back, was a little bit of a mix between DeAndre and Kenny. Saquon can do all, and both those guys do a good job too, and that I just mentioned. But Saquon can do a lot of different things. We've had a lot of experiences with backs in the past, whether it be Danny Woodhead, whether it be Naheem Hines, Kellen with different guys that he's had. So to say, hey, he's gonna get 50 catches, 60 catches, 70 catches, we're way too early for that. No offense, like this offense looks different than Kellen's offenses in Dallas. This offense looks different as far as our personnel as offenses in Indy or early on here in Philadelphia. So, 50, but you also got to remember you got to share it with some other guys that are really good players too. So you never know how that's going to look, how that's going to play itself out. There's a lot of things that could happen in a season.
How do you spread the ball? How do you spread the ball around to keep everybody happy? And you just kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, I always think that's a really good problem to have is to have multiple weapons because the defense has to stop all those guys. But what's really important is what's really important is that we build this team, the connection of this team. And I'm getting to why I'm saying this, Howard, because when you have all these different talents, when you walk in the door and this individual is really good, this individual is really good, this individual is really good. There's a lot of different. You want to be able to spread the ball around to them, and sometimes week in, week out, it's grandly so. It's not going to be that easy to do so, right? AJ's first game, right? He had 10 catches for 155 yards against Detroit, and do you remember how many Devonta had? 0 for none. And he ended up having 1,000 yards that year. And so what's important in the process of a season is that we build the connection, we build the team, right? And so that everyone's, regardless of how much they're eating, everyone's excited for each other. And I know, and that's what's important, and that's what's going to be happening that's what I'm excited about, building, the team, our core values, our culture over these next months, so that when something like that does happen, because inevitably it will, you don't go in with an assumption that it's going to happen ever, but sometimes it does, that everyone's happy for each other and we get in the locker room because we won the football game and everyone's pumped up. And that's something that you have to work on. And so it's not easy, but that's the time that they spend together, getting to know each other, hanging out with each other. That is so important to a team because it's not the best group of individuals that wins. It's the best it's the best team, and that's what we're excited about developing here over the next couple months heading into our first game.
How's White Barber going into the offensive?
Gosh, we're excited about the players that we have. I know we lost some good pieces, depth pieces that we've had over the last couple years. Those guys have contributed to played awesome minutes and contributed to wins. But excited about the pieces that with Hennessy that we added, and obviously this. I mean, there's free agency, then there's the draft, then there's after the draft, then there's the first couple weeks of the season, then there's whatever with the trade deadline. I know this. Howie constantly works to improve this football team, and man, I couldn't ask for that. That's an unbelievable thing as a coach when your general manager in the front office is just willing to do anything to get the team better at all times. That makes you, we always want to work hard. It makes you even want to work even harder for him because he's doing so much to help us out. So we know it's a long way away to being a finished product at the offensive line because we know where there's so much more time to add guys. And so But as we sit right now, I like our guys. We got guys with major experience, right? We have 4 guys back with major experience, and then we got a couple guys there that have played a lot of plays too. One coming off an injury, and then guys, some other depth pieces. So we'll see how that goes.
Along those lines, talk to me just about your expectation, with that offensive line, because in years past, you've had to consistently sub out guys due to injury, health reasons, whatever, but now you're going in with essentially a smaller core group. What are your expectations for them?
Yeah, like I said, that core group will continue to grow. We have the draft, we have the off season, there's so much more time here to add to that group. As far as expectation goes, we just continue to want them to work together because it's so important that offensive line is one, that they're all you're all seeing it the same way, that one guy's setting the table, the rest of them are seeing it that way. I'm really excited about that group that we have. We've had great offensive line play over the past 3 years that I've been here. Obviously, we're losing one of the best players in not only Eagle history, but NFL history, one of the best centers of all time. So obviously there's going to be things that we got to, work to replace with that. But what's great is these guys have been around Jason for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And so, we'll see who that is at center. We'll see who that is at right guard. But I know we got a lot of good pieces. We got, Landon, Lane, 2 guys that are Pro Bowlers and have been for the last couple years now, and Lane's been for a long time. Jordan Mailata's played a lot of good football. Cam Jurgens got a lot of good minutes last year, and we'll see how the rest of it pays out. Steen has a lot of different qualities to be. He's versatile, and I think he can do a lot of different things. And so when you get guys that are versatile, there's flexibility there of what you can do with them, what piece goes where. But we're excited about him. Obviously, how I feel and everybody feels about Coach Stout. He's going to get the best out of these guys, and Tyler's going to benefit from that coaching. And Tyler's also going to benefit because he's a really good player that we took in the 3rd round. So excited about his development, some of the minutes that he got last year. And I think that he is a great option, and we'll see what happens.
Where are the Bills getting Nicholas Moore? Can you tell me about that?
Go ahead. I'll come right back to you. Yeah, stay right there.
As far as going from
I don't want to
Jason,
make these guys mad.
going from Jason to Cam, what are the challenges in terms of making?
He snuck that in there quick on you guys. That was good.
What are the challenges in terms of making the line calls going from Jason to Cam? And will Cam, actually you said we'll see what's going to happen at center. Is he not definitively the starting center? And will he make the line calls?
I don't have to make that decision anywhere near for a long, long time, and so we'll see. We got a lot of time. We got walkthroughs to go through. We got a lot. we got walkthroughs to go through. We got training camp. We got OTAs. As far as what that looks like, Cam's got a ton of reps. If it is Cam, he's got a ton of reps doing that too. And Jason didn't take every snap at center last year in practice, so I'm really confident that he can do it. Really confident, but we'll see what happens. Nick Morrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I just thought really tough player that gave everything on every snap. I'm excited for his new journey. He contributed to 11 wins last year and played through nagging injuries and played tough and was a consistent guy that played hard every single play.
Yesterday, talking about the guys you added on defense, Howie said he felt like you guys needed to get your swagger back on that side of the ball. At what point during the season did you think that was something you were missing, and what is it about CJ in particular, about his energy that you love?
I think the word toughness is just the word that we were looking to add tough pieces. And when you go back and look at Chauncey, of the things that he added when he was here in 22, you saw a guy that was willing to throw his body around and play physically tough. And I just, and play mentally tough too. Like there's two pieces of toughness: the physical toughness and the mental toughness. Whether he had a good play, whether he had a bad play, he was playing his butt off the next play with amazing effort, and some of the physical plays that he made too. I mean, there was a tackle in the NFC Championship game where he came up and made an awesome open field tackle on McCaffrey on the sideline, who we know is not an easy guy to tackle, and he made an unbelievable physical play, got up with excitement. Like, I'm really excited about the toughness that Chauncey brings back, and he plays with constant energy, and that's contagious. Like, physical play is like, it just brings that juice. It's like the alley-oop, right? It's like a big three-pointer. Whatever sport you want to compare it to, the energy that it brings to the sideline and your team and the momentum that it builds. So excited about his toughness that he adds and the excitement he plays with, and looking forward to him adding that to the piece of the defense. Again, nothing. We didn't meet our expectations last year, so there a lot of different pieces it wasn't good enough, right? It wasn't good enough, and so that's definitely a piece. You want me to help you out there? That's definitely a piece that we know that in football, when you're tough, it gives you a chance to win a lot of games, and that's always been what we talk about, what we think about. Just like our other core values, connect, compete, accountability, compete's a form of toughness, and so we want to be the toughest team at all times. And there's at stretches we've been that in this past 3 years, and we want to make sure that's who we are. That's how we're built. We're built on the offense and defensive line. We have great skill guys, but we're built through that offense and defensive line, and that's that physical toughness that we want to bring. I wouldn't say I thought it was missing, but we can do everything better than what we did, particularly at the end of last year.
Hey Nick, in what ways was your relationship with Jalen tested last year, and what efforts have you made to mend and strengthen it this offseason?
I think the relationships, as far as that, it's when you're going through tough times, all relationships are tested, right? When you're going through stretches where so that's not just my relationship with Jalen's relationship with everybody, and that's everybody's relationship when you're going through rocky times as far as your results. But we stuck, you got to just stick to the process of what you do and understand that your process will take you through, and eventually if you got the right pieces in place, that will help you break through. So we're in constant communication. I try to be in constant communication with all the guys on our team, because it's not just my relationship with the quarterback that's important. It's my relationship with the entire group, and it's their relationship with each other. Because we're gonna be watching. I know we're all watching March Madness now, and the teams that are in the Sweet 16. Right, I just saw something with Coach Smart at Marquette, and they're like just talking about the love that he has for his team. Like, teams that do well in sports are the teams that are the closest, the teams that are, the best teams. And so, like, that's what you're trying to build, and you're trying to build that with the entire team, and you're hoping the team's building that together as well. So that's what we're focused on. Obviously, my relationship with the quarterback, with Jalen, is highly important, but his relationship with his offensive line's important, and then offensive line's relationship with the defensive line's important, and Kellen's relationship with Kevin Patullo is important. It's all important, and it all matters. And we're just excited to get back and get back to that close-knit team that we know that we've been in the past, and through good times and bad.
Nick, Jalen said at the end of the year that different seasons demand different things from players. You guys have lost two leaders, especially on offense, Jason. Is there a different demand on him in that regard, do you think, going into this season?
Yeah, leadership's going to be really important. It's going to be really important, especially when you lose two guys like Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox, who I can't say enough good things about. I mean, the style of play that they've brought for so long, and also the leadership that they brought. But leadership is going to be important, and that's not just Jalen's going to have even more with Jason stepping out. Landon's going to have more. Jordan Mailata is going to have more, and it's going to take a lot of guys to fill the void of the leadership on that offensive side of the ball that Jason Kelce provided, and so that's important. That's just as like talent is so important, right? We know that the talent's so important, but your culture and your leadership, I mean, those lead to special things, and so excited about the new opportunities that some of these guys get to voice, because the leadership has to come from somewhere. When there's a void from one spot, it's going to have to come from somewhere, and I'm excited to see who steps up. I know Jalen will step up. I know Devontae Smith will step up. I know A.J. Brown will step up. I know Landon Dickerson has very special leadership qualities that I'm excited to see. Lane's always been a leader. Jordan Mailata, I think he has very special leadership qualities that have been untapped a little bit that he can use, because Jason's been in charge of that group. Saquon, obviously I'm fresh into knowing him, but have never heard. All I've ever heard is how good of a leader he is. So we have a lot of guys in place to be able to do this and step up with their leadership, and it's going to be necessary, because that's what helps leadership, culture. All right, in the addition to the talent is what helps you do special things.
Are you changing the offseason program as far as the mini camps and using the OTAs?
They strategically push it. I'm looking forward, and he's it's hard for me to come back here. I'll try to get to you guys.
With the new coaching staff, are you changing the way you approach the offseason program?
Tweaks, that we'll see. That schedule will come out, but yeah, definitely tweaks. Again, you always evaluate everything, just like you evaluate a play, just like you evaluate your culture, you evaluate your practice, and you evaluate how you go about doing things and your process. Your process is not written in stone. A good process is one that's constantly changing for the benefit of your team. Oh, if we did this, that's something that I do after every phase of what we do. Hey, what could we have done better here? And that's an open question to all of my coaches and all our leadership and all our guys on our team. What could we do better here? What could we do better there? And so there'll be some differences, Zach, that we'll do as far as our practice goes. But it's not. It's what things that we could do better, right? But also with the new guys on the offense and defensive sides of the ball as our staff.
Nick, Kenny wanted to be Kenny Pickett, wanted to compete to start in Pittsburgh. What was your messaging to him about obviously his role here, and what are the qualities you liked about him at backup?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to add Kenny. It was a little feel like sometimes you go through a backup quarterback process each year. It's like, okay, I'm going to watch these guys again. I'm going to watch these guys again. And it was like when we got Gardner a couple years ago, I'm like, all right, we're set for a couple years. And same thing here with Kenny. I'm really excited about the things that he can do. Excited that, that we have a piece in place there. But his job is to be the backup, and his job is to support Jalen and help him in any way that he can and be ready to play if he needs to play. And so add to the value of the room, what he sees, a different perspective of what he sees. The little time I've gotten to know him, and the things I've heard about him, I've just heard great teammate, great kid, great person that works his butt off every single day to be the best he can be. And when you can add a piece like that, that's always a good thing.
Nick, there's been a lot of talk in recent years about running backs being undervalued and that sort of stuff. You guys got Barkley. How do you look at that situation? Are they still being undervalued? Is it just kind of dependent on the team? Is it cyclical?
Yeah, all you can do is speak on your team. We've had the last, so I've been here for 3 years. This will be my 4th year, and 2 out of the 3 years we had a Pro Bowl running back on a top 10 offense. So we know how important it is. Miles Sanders made the Pro Bowl in 22. DeAndre Swift made the Pro Bowl in 23. We're looking for, we'll see what the awards that Saquon gets, but we know we're adding a really good piece right there. So we've always valued that position. Sometimes it's value of that position with and I'm speaking as an offensive coach, sometimes it's value of that position by handing him the ball a bunch. Sometimes it's getting the ball in the pass game. That can look a lot of different ways, but we know that we're really excited about the addition of Saquon, and we know how good our backs have done for us these last couple years. And the depth that we've had at back too. With Kenny Gainwell coming back, like Kenny's tough. Kenny brings a physical toughness to our football team that's really, really important. Again, we talk about our culture. We want to be a tough football team that competes their butt off, and Kenny Gainwell does that. There's a play that he had in the Rams game where he was focused on Aaron Donald, because we wanted to know where he was at all times. And Aaron Donald stunted inside. Kenny ended up chipping somebody on the edge, a really good chip, catch the ball on the flat, and get the ball for a first down on a big third down conversion. So we love the toughness that Kenny brings and adds to that group. So we love our running back group, and we sure as heck value it.
How does Parker and Campbell fit into the offense?
When you have a offense, when you have a wide receiver group, you don't want the same guy, right? You want different pieces. There's different pieces that you're looking to fill. I think Devontae gives us another guy that can win on the outside. He's proven that he's a really good player on the outside that's had a lot of production, that can win one-on-one on the outside. And that's really important to have, not only AJ and Devontae Smith that can win on the outside, but, what if they have to come out for a play? What if, that you get another guy in there that can consistently win versus man-to-man coverage? Paris brings an element of speed. Paris is really fast, and Paris I obviously look forward to getting to know Devontae Parker and how he goes about his business. I know a lot about Paris Campbell and how he goes about his business, and so he's a guy that works extremely hard and really wants to be great person. Great person who works hard. We got room for those guys on our team, but he brings an element of speed. After we picked him up, or right before we picked him up, myself and Kevin and Kellen were watching our game against Indy versus Jacksonville in 2020, where Paris just had an unbelievable game. You guys can look up the stats, but he caught a couple deep overs. He caught a sail route that was really good. He had a reverse that he lowered his shoulder on the sideline. He did, against Miles Jack. He did get a personal foul on that play because he went up and he did that. So he won't get. I think he's worked on that, but and he ended up getting hurt the next game against Minnesota. But there were so many big-time plays he made in that. And I know – and then in 22, I believe he had a big year in Indy. So Paris has had a lot of production, and he brings the element of speed.
How much autonomy will Vic have over the defense?
Yeah, I hired Vic to do a job. Obviously, I'm excited about adding a piece like him that has done it for so long. Like, to be quite honest, with Jonathan and with Sean, they were first-time-ish coordinators. And so it's, Vic's done it for a very long time. I'll obviously have suggestions on things that, in situational football that we've talked about a lot. That I'll have some things that I'll want to talk through with him. But, man, I'm really excited to get somebody like Vic in here. And, he's in charge of the – he's in charge of the defense. Now, every product that goes out into the field, whatever product's out in the field is ultimately my responsibility. So my name's on that. So I'll have some ideas here and there, but, obviously Vic's done this at a high level for a very long time, and I'm excited what he brings.
Do a couple more.
Given what was said by some of the Miami players about Vic, how do you guys? Is there any concern about that at all?
That I don't know what are you referring to?
They're basically not kind of coaching style and ways toward the end of their season last year. Do you think there's any concern about how he released the players or anything like that?
Knowing how they finished on defense, they were pretty good on defense. So that's what I'm excited about to have. We're in a culture that that we work hard at our relationships with our players. That doesn't mean your relationships don't mean friends, right? Because our job is to get them better. It's being there for them. It's connecting with them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're buddy with them, right? At all times. There's times that it is, and there's times that there's not. And he's been a really successful coach in this league for a long time. His defenses consistently finish high in defense, and excited to have him on our staff.
Is Bryce Huff going to take the workload that Hassan and Joshua had the past few years?
Again, so much time to be able to say that. Again, we have Sweaty, we have BG, we have Nolan, we have Patrick Johnson, we have Bryce, we have Hassan, right? And so we'll see. I mean, there's so many things to play out. I know how good of a pass rusher he is. Obviously, that's what got him paid the amount of money he got paid, and we're really excited to add him to our roster, knowing how much he can provide help for us to get after the passer. But we'll see how the reps play itself out. But there's a lot of time a lot of things to go through before we get to that.
Last one, guys. How involved are you in terms of talking with Howie? Because I know he's the GM, but he is one of your best players on the defense. How involved are you, and are you worried he won't be back?
We'll see how everything plays out. Obviously, Howie and I talk about everything. We talk about everything, right? I know my job is the head coach, and his job is the general manager, and there's different responsibilities that fall under both of us, but we're in this together. Howie and I are a team. The way Howie and I connect is important, right? And I really value my relationship with Howie, that's grown over the past 3 years. So if we want our players to connect, then it's important that they see us connecting as coaches and as front office to head coach and front office to other coaches. And so Howie and I talk about everything that revolves around getting our team better or changing our team in any way, and value that relationship. So obviously in constant communication with him.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.